This is Lawrence D. Adams. This is when spirituality and the game combines. You have the thinking class. Join us today as we talk about the aftermath. What should Will Smith do now? What should Will Smith do now? We want to go right into this broadcast right now. We're going to talk about what should Will Smith do right now. There's so many things going on. Let me get my mouse together right here. There's so many things that are going on, but what should Will Smith do right now? What is his game plan? Yesterday we talked about Chris Rock and what he needed to do, and I just found out just a few minutes ago, just scavenging some things on Google, that Chris Rock is now telling people at his last performance not to disrespect Will Smith. Let me say that again. Chris Rock has already put in an action plan to tell people to not to disrespect to Will Smith. That is how you cover someone else. Let me say that again. That's how you cover someone else. So that's exactly what that is what Chris Rock is doing right now. He is covering Will Smith and telling people, don't disrespect him. Don't put him down. See, it takes his voice, it takes Chris Rock, who was the one who was being perpetrated against, to speak up for speak up for Will Smith. That's very important. It is very important that you understand that Chris Rock has now became the voice of reasoning for the public, because in the public's eye, Will Smith is nothing but a pile of sugar honey iced tea. Let me say that again. Will Smith is just a what? Pile of sugar, honey, iced tea. So right now, Chris Rock has already put in motion what we talked about yesterday. You got to go back and listen to it. He's already put in motions ways to cover his brother. So if anything we can say from Chris Rock right now, even though he's taken the brunt of the stick and he's got the short end of the stick with seemingly, he now becomes the one who becomes the redeemer for Will Smith and his brand, his family, and everything like that. Chris Rock now becomes the redeemer for who? Will Smith. And that's important because it's going to take someone else to step in and speak on the behalf of Will Smith, which is what he needs right now. So if anything, first thing I can say right off the bat, Will Smith needs to make sure he sends that olive branch to Chris Rock, because it take a bigger man to get smacked in public eye, everyone to know it over a joke, and for him, shout out to you, Jonathan W., and for him to automatically go and say, "Hey, don't disrespect Will Smith." That's a big man to do that. It takes a lot of guts. It takes a lot of fortitude. It takes a lot of character for Chris Rock to do that. So I send a lot of ups, a lot of kudos to Chris Rock for doing that. That's what I'm talking about. What's going on, the Mac Bible? What's going on? Shout out to the red hat in the chat. Yeah. So yeah, shout out to the red hat in the chat room. Yeah. So let's get it correct. So I am completely showing Chris Rock and showing you how to really live this life and how to be about this life with the game. But now we need to talk about Will Smith. Will Smith has got himself in a quandary. He has got him in such a place that, man, what can he do after this? First of all, let me clear it up. Everyone wants to demonize Will Smith. Even I do. Let's be very clear. I want to demonize Will Smith. I want to say, dude, you wrong. You shouldn't have did that. You shouldn't have did that. You shouldn't have did that at all. You shouldn't have smacked Chris Rock. You shouldn't have did that. But what I have to realize, it's not my place to demonize Will Smith or put the blame on Jada Smith. What I have to do as a content creator and as a person that's running the show is to realize, yeah, I have an opinion about that. Yeah, I can think what I want to think, but I don't know this whole situation and I don't know the whole nuances. But one thing I have to do, we can do what Will Smith has to do. Will Smith has to, like I said with Chris Rock yesterday, Will Smith has to forgive himself. He knows he has messed messed up big time. Let me say that again. Will Smith knows he's messed up big time. How big? Big. He knows he's made a public spectacle of himself in front of Jada, in front of the world. Came back later, came with tears that can be either real or they can be actor tears. We don't know. But I know the first thing that Will Smith had to do, he needs to fess up and say, you know what? I made a complete fool of myself. Shout out to you, Sigma. Made a complete fool of myself, and I need to accept that. I need to tell my family. I need to tell my publicists. I need to tell my cousins. I need to tell everybody that I made a fool of myself, Will Smith. We need to face that. What's going on, Vicky alumni? Yeah, he messed up, and he's one of my favorite. Yeah, he need to say, you know what? I need to take this to the head. You know how they used to say back in the day, you take this to the head? He needs to take this to the head. He has messed up world big time. Once he owns it, like I talked about Mike Tyson yesterday, when Mike Tyson, when he owned the fact that he was going, when Mike Tyson took the fact that he took a chunk out of Evander Holyfield's ear in the fight, and he owned it. Years later, he's turned it around. Now he has CBD, gummy bears of ears. He's owned it. So Will Smith has to own this situation. I don't care. This is the thing. Nothing's going to change until he owns it. I don't care. He can apologize to the Academy. He can apologize to the Oscars. He can apologize to the actors. He can apologize to his mama, to his cousin, to everybody else. But until that Negro apologizes to himself, he's going to always beat himself up. And I'm saying that because a lot of men, women, whoever it may be, have done the same thing. Will Smith had to forgive himself. I know you may not like to hear that, but that's just the truth. The second thing is we, the public, need to forgive Will Smith. Who are we to judge him? I mean, we need to hold him accountable for what he did. Don't get me wrong. There needs to be some accountability for what you did, bro. Hauling off for smacking somebody, smacking Chris Rock. But at the same token, we got to say, you know what? I got to forgive Will Smith. I'm not giving him excuses. I'm not giving him a way out. I'm not trying to hold on to his trying to make him pay. I gotta let it go. Yeah, take the misfortune and making a fortune right. We you know what? We the public have to forgive Will Smith. And normally, let me say this, in the Black community, we're very hard on our own. Let me say that again. Y'all may not like it. In the Black community, we know we are very hard on our own. Don't let none of us make a mistake. Oh, the first thing we're going to say, oh, shoot, you didn't did that in front of these white people. You know how we do. You ain't act up in front of these white people. Why you didn't do all that? Now everybody gonna look at Black people the same way. Like that's all we do. We just hoodlums and we gonna fight. I heard that narrative already. See what that Will Smith did? We got to forgive him in the public eye. We got to forgive him. We can't hold, this the thing. Dude made a mistake. I'm not giving him no passes. Like Governor said, I ain't giving him no free cookies. I ain't giving him no sugar-free cookies. I ain't giving him nothing. Dude is wrong. But we got to let him go. We got to say, you know what? Boom, bro, man, you didn't effed up. You didn't messed up. You know what? Cool. But we watching you though. If this becomes a trend, that there's something wrong here. And we know as of these past 3 years or 4 years that Will and Jada has been in the public eye, that, there's been a trend going on. And then this the other thing. And I want you to get this. I didn't get to say this last time with Chris when I did the Chris Rock part, but I'm dealing with the Will Smith. When you realize Will Smith was not actually, y'all need to catch this. This is when we go a little to Jupiter and whatever the case may be. Stay with me. Will Smith was not actually, if we look at it in an alternative universe, he was not smacking Chris Rock. Will Smith was smacking a version of himself. Let me say that again. I mean, Will Smith was smacking a version of himself that responded like Chris Rock. Why do you say that, LDA? The reason why I say that, understanding the sciences and understanding the law, we meet nobody but ourselves. Let me say that again. We meet no one but ourselves. But this is the thing. Will Smith, at the joke, laughed. He kikied and laughed at what took place. So that let you, on some level, he was thinking the same thing. Look at her bald-headed self over there. Get what I'm saying? On some level, he was thinking that because he laughed. For you to laugh, that means you had to resonate with what was said. You ain't you don't laugh at a joke and ain't funny. You ain't laughing if you don't relate to what was said. So on some level, he laughed, but not only did he just he laughed like fall back laugh. You know that's a good laugh when you take it all right here in front of your chest. He took that kind of laugh. He was like, man, this is hilarious. But then he looked over to his other side, his other reflection, which was Jada, who laughed too. And he realized that what he was looking at was the version of himself that he wanted to smack, which was Chris Rock. Let me read this comment right here. Black community is the last to operate in grace, unfortunately. He made a mistake. We critiqued him. Time to forgive him, move forward with our lives. Your idols are humans just like you. Correct. That's the truth. So I want to make sure we emphasize that. Get the science. It's the spiritual side that most people don't talk about. Chris Rock was only a version of Will Smith that Will Smith smacked. You mean I don't believe all that? That ain't true. I don't believe all that. Okay, you don't have to believe it. I'm not here to convince you or try to make you see anything different. Will Smith was dealing with a part of him that he did not like in himself in Chris Rock. And so what he did was he tried to correct it the wrong way instead of correcting it the correct way, which was going within and say, let me deal with that part of me that looks like Chris Rock, that's teasing, who's making fun of my wife, because I did think it was funny, but I didn't want to now look really stupid now because I'm laughing at the joke that she laughed at a little bit. Now she gave me the side eye. See, we don't want to deal with that. This is an internal battle that's played out in front of us with Will Smith. This is an internal battle that you've seen played out with Will Smith. So Will Smith needs to deal with the aftermath with his insecurities. We talked about it last week, but he needs to deal with that part of him that says, I identify with Chris Rock. I identify with his jokes that he made because it was just a joke. But on some level, Will Smith was thinking, you know what? It is hilarious. And she does have a bald head. Shout out to you, Alfie. So we need to really think about that. On some level, he was dealing with that. The next thing we need to think about with Will Smith is this. His internal battles that he's dealing with. He's dealing with the internal battles with Jada, his kids, his family. He's dealing with his insecurities. He's dealing with all these internal battles that he's fighting inside. And what we see, and I'm repeating again, that's being played out in front of the whole world to see. Many men, and I'm talking to the men because this is unapologetically a man's channel. Many men are dealing with eternal battles inside that they don't talk about that's played out in front of them. And so it's easy to blame Chris Rock. It's easy to blame Jada Smith. We're going to talk about Jada Smith tomorrow. Y'all going to love that tomorrow when we get onto Jada Smith. Baby, I'm telling you, you think we just talking, we just touching the water right now. Wait till we get to Jada. But we're dealing with Will Smith. He has to deal with those internal, we call them demons, whatever you want to call them, internal battles that he has inside that no one talks about. Thank you, Dre. Will slapped the inside of himself that Will is ashamed of. Thank you so much. You have encapsulated what I'm talking about. Thank you. So what time I'm on? Tomorrow at 12:30, same time, 12:30 to 1:30. I can look out the window and see you, Vicky. We're that close. I can look out the window, point the camera, and see your house. So Will Smith, let me read what Dre wrote. Will slap the inside of himself that Will is ashamed of. How many men, how many women slap the inside of them that they are ashamed of and they take it out on somebody else? That they take it out on them, they take it out on somebody. What you see is a man trying to take out his frustrations, his battles, his desire to get things right with his family, but he did it the damn wrong way. I can theorize, we can turn this into a church service, we can do all that, but he did it the wrong way. This is a classic example of learning lesson of what goes on, not just in men, but in women or us as humans. When we don't process things the correct way, we take it out on everything around us. That's why I don't go with this whole thing of blaming. It was Jada. It was Chris. It was the academy. It was this one. No, it's you. We teach the gospel of accountability over here. He was accountable for what took place. It was his fault. He slapped the part of him, great analogy of who he was. And guess what he had to do? He still, if I'm being honest, if I were to see a little further, he still hasn't dealt with that. He still hasn't dealt with the part of him that feels ashamed. Let's go to the next step. That he doesn't measure up to Tupac. He has to deal with the part of him that he feels that he's never going to be what Tupac was to Jada. He hasn't resolved that inside of him. It is like Tupac is still wrestling, even though Tupac is dead, he's still what? Wrestling with Tupac over Jada. He's still fighting Tupac on the inside of him. Knuckles back there. He's still fighting Tupac on the inside of him over Jada. And what you're seeing is an eternal battle. And what she is only doing, she's only reflecting what he is battling with. Truth be told, he never felt, and you need to catch this if you listen to this good game, he never felt that he deserved her. He never felt that he deserved Jada Pinkett. So Will Smith, after this aftermath, he need to feel that he never felt. So what he's doing is you can't buy deserving hood. You can't go on a trip and go get deserving hood. You can't have kids and make yourself feel deserving. You can't become the best actor in the world if you don't feel deserving. So I know everybody say, well, he got money, he got access, he can get any woman. But if you don't feel deserving of Jada, guess what he's going to do? He's going to constantly put her on a pedestal and always working to get her approval instead of realize that he's already approved. It's like this. It's like going to you're going to look at a house, 3 bedrooms, whatever the case may be, and you go to you see the house you like, so you go get what you go do is what? You go get a pre-approval from the bank. The bank says, you know what? You qualify this amount of money, this amount of house that you can get. So you say, well, I like this house. I guess I pre-approved for this amount of house. So when you make a transaction, when you talk to the bank, guess what? You have a pre-approval letter. They run it again to make sure that you are approved for it and you qualify for the house. Will Smith never felt that he qualified or was pre-approved to receive Jada. Thank you. Money only amplified who he was. Come on. He hasn't resolved the insecurities in himself. That's why he continues to wage war with him and cause damage to those around him. Right. Money only what amplifies who he was. That's all money does. If you like strippers, you're going to get money. You're going to go waste it on strippers. If you like popcorn and you just can't live without popcorn, you're gonna start buying a whole bunch of popcorn because you got money. Money only amplifies who you are. Let's go to the next. See, I wonder if him slapping Chris Rock reinforced the powerless inside of him. You were correctly. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. It only enforced. Thank you. How powerless he really is. Actually, it was a cry out for help. Him slapping Chris Rock was really a cry for help because he says, I feel pain. I said feel. And I'm saying this in a sense, he felt. Because we as men, we need to think. But he allowed his feelings to feel that he was powerless instead of thinking that he was powerful. Let me say that again for those in the back of the room. He felt powerless, but his thinking should have been, I'm powerful. So, in essence, like Sigmund is putting inside of the chat room, he is self punishing himself. He is punishing who he is. He can have he got access. He can get any woman, beautiful, all this. He can go to an island. He can jump off a building. He can do all these things. But if you have not resolved that you are punishing yourself because you don't feel approved of the woman that you love, you're gonna go. It's the song they used to sing. It's the song. You got me going in circles. He's going in circles. And then you really look at the next song from the 70s. Everybody plays the fool sometimes. He playing the fool. But we are watching this on a global sense, but is also a reflection of what we may be going on inside of us. Do we feel deserving of the things we're supposed to receive? That's ours. So what he's been doing is he has not secretly, but knowingly put Jada on a pedestal. Let me say it slow. A pedestal. He's put her on a pedestal. So he comes in, just the sound of the man working on the train. Gang. Just the sound of the man working on the train. That's all he's doing. He is strategically put what's going on, John? He strategically put her on a pedestal. Can you hear me, John?
Yep. What's up?
Yeah. So so we're talking about the internal works of how the real battle is not against Chris Rock, but the real battle is the battle that he's battling inside. He's never felt approved of Jada Smith. So he's constantly working. He's constantly battling inside. He's actually punishing himself because he never felt that he was worthy enough for her.
Oh yeah.
Huh?
I said, oh yeah.
And it never fails out in your favor.
Actually, they both were looking for a fantasy. He knew he was a player and wanted the normal life. And actually, no, it's the other way around. I said it wrong. She is the player. She's the
All
player
right.
and wanted a normal life and was willing to take on a normal life. And what Will wanted was to become a player because he was getting more of those Hollywood roles, more of those high stakes salary. He was at one point, just like The Rock, he was one of the highest paid salaried actors. And what happens is when that fame and that stardom, comes to a head, what happens is Jada had to take a back seat, take care of the family, but she always had roots in having her choice and variety in partners. So what happened was, it's like they both made a deal with each other. Okay, hey, I'm gonna become this figure while you get to sit back in the cut. But that was never gonna be an actual plan that was gonna work out long term because she still has her feelings. She still wanted to have her ability to go out where she wanted to go. And he, of course, was going to come back to being a family man at the same time, at some point.
Right.
he actually owed it to his past too. Remember, he was married before.
Oh, he was. Yeah, he was married before. And I didn't do enough research to find out what is the reason why he got divorced from her, because she wasn't about, from what if I remember correctly, she wasn't in that kind of limelight and anything like that.
Mm. He has a
Right.
son, he has an older son. You know, there was like a whole other family. So they don't mention it, of course, because that mess with that perfect, Hollywood situation he got now. But you have to look at it from a standpoint of, hey, he owed something subconsciously to his past. And he was trying to make it correct in his next relationship. He's like, I'm gonna keep this family together.
And what happens is, this is the aftermath. What he's doing now, because he's trying to do that, it's costing him. It can potentially cost him everything. I heard Netflix has put a stop on all his movies.
Oh yeah. They had a green light on that. Even Bad Boys 4 is on hold right now too.
Think what Martin is doing, man.
That movie ain't nothing without Will, so
It's not.
gotta wait. He can't complain.
No, no, it's not. You can't put another person in without Will Smith and Martin Lawrence because of the chemistry that they got together.
It's, it's just on hold. Everything's on hold.
Yeah.
Will Smith is not canceled yet. Will Smith is on hold. He took, what he did was he basically, before he got kicked out, he kicked himself out.
Smart move.
It's the best move he could do.
But that was a great move. Responding, I mean, instead of being, did I say that correct? Instead of reacting, he responded correctly. So let me take and be proactive in this situation and say, you know what? Let me do this. So what he's doing, we hope that you're listening, Will, because I know you're listening. You're taking your power back.
Yeah, I mean, well, the narrative's going out of control, and if you write your own story, then you get a chance to do what you want. Now, he canceled the Oscars before. Y'all don't remember 2017?
Yep,
Well,
sure do.
it's not just the Academy itself that he was against something that was going on back then, and guess what? He bounced back and made it to the Oscar level. Why wouldn't he be able to do it again? It's basically he's actually clowning the whole industry because if you love me, then you can hate me, then you can love me again.
That's powerful. That's what we need to hit. That's why I wanted to hit even in the beginning about us forgiving him and letting it go. Will Smith, like I said for Chris Rock yesterday, is in a very strategic spot. Either it can go left or it can go right. And if he allow it to, and not become emotional with this, not allow his personal situations to play out, he can bounce back from this and potentially, Jono, and I'm saying, and I'll be the first one to say it here, become even more wealthier.
Oh, well, money was never his problem.
Yeah.
What he was trying to do was balance his family against his fame. And what he was trying to do was put himself out as an even more recognizable public figure. He was trying to Steve Harvey himself on social media. And what happens is when you become the jack of all trades, but the master of none, what
Mhm.
happens is you just become the person they clown for a little bit. Okay. The joker in the deck can play any card, but ain't the card. And what happens is that's what Will was trying to do. He was trying to play like I could take this platform that I have already and transform it to a social media platform and then bring some good to National Geographic, bring some good to some of the reality shows, bring some good to the small screen as opposed to what he's always done on the big screen.
Right. Because if you look at a track record prior to this, when he jumped on social media, you can see that he's trying to become relatable and not become this person that's just in the clouds that's just famous.
Yeah. I mean, you don't find something relatable when you don't see how it can connect with you.
Correct.
What he was trying to do was show you the real life Will. When he turned 50, a lot of things changed his life. When the actor that played Uncle Phil, when he died, that was a big impact for him too.
Yeah.
Because, not having a connection with his own father, he made a connection with some of the older male figures in the industry. Now, we know the actor that played Uncle Phil was not his father, but he helped him develop his characters way more than anybody who's teaching him about acting. Matter of fact, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was his first acting gig, and he didn't even have acting on he didn't even have an acting background, basically.
Correct.
So he had to develop his acting character as well as the character he acted at the same time.
Well, that's a mouthful right there, but it's so true. It's so true when you look at it. But this is the thing to bring it home. How many men are and women are in the same situation? So it's easy to criticize. We can easily go all day and critique Will Smith. Easily, man. I know I did because I was like, this he wrong. But on the other side, where do I learn a lesson from him and where he's at? What am I trying to reconcile inside of me with my family? Where have I made a mistake and misstepped when it comes to my relationship if I was married? I can't say I'm married now after the April Fool's thing. I can't it won't stop. The April Fool's thing won't stop. But where is that? So what Will Smith did, all he did was he put up a mirror for all of us to look at and say, ooh, that's me, that's not me.
Can you be realistic about how human you are?
There it is.
Can you get in touch with the physical side of you? And sometimes we drop out of meditation, sometimes we drop out of affirmation, sometimes we drop out of our spirituality side, and we have to come down and interact as humans. That's what we saw. What we saw was a person who became human and it was a reaction. It was not a proactive thing. You couldn't have planned that. He couldn't have planned to mess up his, reputation. He couldn't have planned to hit another black man on live television. This is the human response. This is the live physical response. And what you have to really dissect in this is the fact that he, of course, had other things considered that he thought was more important than the action itself.
Correct.
Okay. And the reason why, probably we'll delve in this tomorrow when we deal with Jada. There's a reason why, there's sometimes if when your pressure builds up in you, sometimes your partner is the pressure release.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Now we wasn't trying to give up women's suffrage by making Jada stand in the middle of that right then and there, but she could have did something. She could have stood and thought was more important at the time. A jokey joke about your hair that somebody else wrote. She may not have known that, but definitely Chris Rock and her. Forget about Will Smith. Chris Rock and Jada got beef that go back way back. You even talked about 2017. Goes back further than that. Goes back even further. I heard it goes back to A Different World days.
Wow.
And what happens is he's been taking shots at her for years. So that's why it's not so much that he don't like her. He sees her as an easy target. What happens is she probably expressed to Will at some time, even though she's the woman and he's the man, Jada probably impregnated her. Jada probably impregnated Will with all of her transgressions and all of her resentment to Chris Rock at some point. And that's why we keep seeing the meme about the battery in the back.
Yep.
If she just made that look, maybe she just made that look, she just said, when she made that look was a tell of a story that we never heard.
Yeah.
That was a tell. I know, remember what I told you? and now you're gonna do this on live TV? You heard like a whole thing going on, and she said nothing.
Right. But
And
that
what I'm trying
conversation
to
was
say is
happening.
she should have had the wisdom that even though he took a shot at her again, this could have been absolutely dealt with after, after the fact, in the green room, in the back. It could have been like some other thing going on instead of messing up whole careers and double apologies and stuff like that. What you have to realize is that she had an opportunity to wear that on the left side of her chin, and she didn't do it. She let Will embarrass himself because I've been embarrassing you for months too, so I'm used to that too.
Oh, uh-oh. We ain't even talk about Jada yet. Jesus Christ. That's
So,
good.
so you got Chris Rock. See, we're focusing on Will, but I'm showing you how two people had no regard for Will at all and set him off.
Yeah.
Chris Rock had no regard for Jada. He likes taking shots at her. Don't care about the man that's sitting right there that's potentially an Oscar winner. It didn't matter.
No.
She has her own agenda against Chris and wants revenge and already plugged everything she needed into Will to be go on automatic pilot at that point. So all these things had nothing to do with Will, but Will had to be the one to react. And I'm glad that we actually taken the time to dissect it a little bit. I know it's getting a little tired, but I'm looking at it from a standpoint of look at the fallout. Look at the destruction of that nobody cares about. Why
Right.
why the Academy allow, such festering of negativity to go on? And that was a potential for even higher ups to say, you know what, why don't we not touch that one? You kind of take jabs at her a little too easily. You did this at another Oscars. Let's not bring this up this time. You got a bad habit,
They
Chris.
wanted
Stop
it
it.
to happen.
Hmm?
Maybe they wanted it to happen.
Oh, well, that's the thing. We think everybody has morality.
No, they
Some
do not.
people just want ratings, and that's what you got.
Yeah,
You got
exactly what you got.
everybody talking about something they never watched. When's the last time you watched a lot of Oscars?
Man, I mean, like, watched it. I think Denzel watching when he got Training Day.
Yeah, because there was potential of somebody we know winning. You
Yeah,
see?
yeah, that's the only time and when
I
he did it, oh, okay.
I didn't even know Will was gonna win this one.
I didn't know either.
Last time I heard about him in the Oscars, he was boycotting it.
Mhm.
So what we gotta realize is that, on your first day back, sitting there running messed up your own reputation, and now you got you're the most talked about thing since sliced bread.
Everywhere, regardless of what language, creed, culture, they know that Will Smith slapped Chris Rock. And on the other side of it, you see this.
I'm telling you.
You see that?
I'm telling you.
Terrible.
You got it almost right, Sigma. Yeah, Jada impregnated Will, and that's why Will slapped Chris.
Mhm. Mhm.
He that I'm tell you something. If Jada wasn't in the crowd, he would have had the same reaction because he was already filled with what she didn't like about what she don't like about Chris Rock. Matter of fact, she probably was only going because he was nominated. If they weren't nominated, they wouldn't have win.
No, we wouldn't win it all. They wouldn't have won.
Why can't y'all see that? Like, it's like almost like a slap in the Oscars face. Like, y'all boycott this thing until you gonna win it.
Right.
And they all pay their dues. They're all in the Screen Actors Guild. If he wants to exit himself out, fine. But
Mhm.
that to me is temporary because his career is not over.
No, it's not. It's not. I think this. This is my personal opinion. I think this is a pivot that he's been looking for with the social media side of it for his career to go up.
Think about it like this. He's pulling a Caucasian action right now. He's checking himself into a high-end retreat facility for to reflect on his bad habits.
He's doing. I make
He
you laugh, man, but it's
he ain't going on WeTV, to work it out with some, B plus or B list, TV show. That's not Will. He has to take the road a person with 9 figures in his account is gonna take. He's gonna take the road that basically repairs him publicly, okay? A publicist probably suggested this,
Mhm.
okay? The same way you went on a whole campaign to get yourself loved by the internet, you know, put your stomach remember he put his stomach out there, and
Yeah.
then and then
Moving
and
around.
all of a sudden, everybody's making fun of him being out of shape and stuff like that, and then 12 weeks later, he got a flat stomach. He may not have the abs he used to have, but he definitely put himself out there like he Eminem'd everybody. He goes, "Oh, I'm gonna give you all the bad news first from me, so you don't have to hear it from nobody." And
Right.
that's what he's doing again in this particular action. In this particular action, he's saying, "Hey, I'm taking myself out of the academy. I'm apologizing. I'm the one." Even though Chris apologized too, he's still apologizing so he could get ahead of his own bad story.
Right. And you think about and you study any Hollywood things, any Hollywood history and thing like that. Anytime this and you're right, there's a track record. Anytime an actor goes into a bad situation or anything like that, what do? They go into drug rehab, right?
Yeah, they admit there's something that's wrong with them. Like,
Right. They go and do that.
it was
And
just
what
a
does
bad
it,
choice.
yeah, because I can't think of an actor now, but it's a couple of actors like from the 20s and the 30s and 40s who did that. Guess what they do? They come back out. Oh, they are better now. Oh, and everyone feels sympathy and empathy for them. And guess what? They're back to acting again. We got to give him a chance. He did do some work on himself. Or she did do some work on himself. They're not that way anymore.
And the ones that can't admit their problems, what they do, they just go away for a little while. Like
Yeah,
Kevin Spacey's trying to come back right now. What an evil person. You know what I'm saying?
right.
He's an evil man.
Yeah, he is.
You would never know it. And if they actually replaced him in a movie role. They literally spent an extra, I don't know, few $1,000,000 to replace him as the main actor in a movie that was supposed to come out before the end of, I think, 2 years ago, so that it could make the Oscars because they knew the movie was award winning, but they didn't want to have Kevin Spacey's name on it. It was a shoo-in for him to get an Oscar. And what they did was make sure they digitized him out, and they shot for like another month of reshoots and dubbed. I forgot who his replacement is. Sorry, I don't know the actor's name. But basically, they spent the money. If Hollywood wants to erase you, they can erase you. So what he's doing is he's taking the time to put it out there for himself, so he don't have to get erased completely.
Correct.
They know that he is worth the money to bounce back.
Yeah.
Okay, if The Rock was the one that punched Chris Rock, of course he would have been punched until next Tuesday. But they would have made sure
Right.
that he apologized enough, he went in rehab enough, he took enough responsibility, which is what we do on this channel, taking responsibility for our own actions. And what happens is, if you do that enough, you might be forgiven by most of the people who are gonna pay for your tickets. That's basically what this is about.
Man, he's gonna go away. You're gonna have a divine revelation. When I was in there, Jesus came and talked to me. The minister came and talked to me. What's going on, Bernie L? And now I'm better. I think I'm ready to act again. Me and Chris Rock came, he visited me and he sent me some Twizzlers. Really? Everybody accepting again. Strategic move right there. Very strategic.
I
After
think it's
after
interesting. They're gonna be a collab. I don't know if um who's that guy that always brings all the hip hop people together? What's his name? The Prince, Shot the Prince or something like that.
you talking about, what's call it? It's normally Farrakhan does.
No, this a guy. He's a gangster. He's a gangster. This is not. I'm talking about hip hop. Back in the day, it was Farrakhan. You're absolutely right.
Mhm.
But there is a guy that just brought Drake and Kanye back together.
You're talking about Jay Prince.
Jay Prince, right?
Jay Prince.
Jay Prince is the kind of we don't have yet, which I think we do have of people that's notable. We don't have yet our Jay Prince for the movie realm.
Mhm.
Okay, when Samuel L. Jackson and Denzel Washington came to Will, that was basically save your don't do this to your career. They weren't trying to say, yo, why you did that to Chris. or come to the meeting of minds and come together. They said, "Yo, apologize right away before you lose everything." You know what I'm saying?
All right.
So, and
But
we
yes,
don't know. I know he does consider them on a high level, Tyler Perry, all these people, because of their success.
right.
Not so much the father figures that they ever had. I don't know who he considers. You know, maybe it's James Earl Jones. Maybe it was Uncle Phil. You know what I'm saying? But
I would think it would have been Denzel because of his extensive acting career. But Jay Prince, like you said, may be a pliable person to use. That's Rap a Lot down in Houston. So anybody don't know who Jay Prince is, Rap a Lot. Very wise guy, was in the street, started Rap a Lot
still
down
in
in
the street.
Houston. Huh?
Still in the street.
Yeah. Got connects, but that will be someone, it will be someone that needs to talk. I think shout out to Farrakhan. I think he's tired. I'm not saying tired in a sense, but I think it will have to be someone else that will be that conduit to actually bring them two together, that they will listen. I don't want to say the other thing.
It's possible. It's possible that, you know, of a neutral ground in the and it might have to be someone that's on the board, you know, that's in the Screen Actors Guild that possibly could, bring amendments that actually has some power to basically, put the hand down. You know, we still don't know. They're supposed to
Oh,
meet
I know the
sometime this
person.
month.
I
Huh?
know the person. Black Godfather.
Okay.
Mr. His last name is Avant. His wife got killed last year. He's the Black Godfather. Like music, anything go down, it goes to him.
Okay.
I can't think of his first name, but his last name is Avant. Older black guy. He had the record company Buddha record company in the 70s. But anything that goes down, you get in trouble, anything like that, you make a call to him.
Yeah, I was thinking more like the board for the Screen Actors Guild. They're supposed to meet
Okay.
at the end of this month, and somebody with some actual, you know, power within the industry that would have sanctioned him with either suspension or with a termination. That was also on the table too.
Yeah.
And what they would see is if y'all had to the meeting of the minds with Chris and him at the same area advocating for, you know, saving both careers, it would have been fine. And that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like that to me would have been the real telltale to let him back in.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, okay, well, you're just canceled, and we tried to tell you to leave, and nobody, really told you to leave, and then we're gonna lie and have 5 lies about it. To me, I think that was even more egregious than him doing the action himself. The cover up was horrible.
Yeah, it was. It was. They didn't want him to leave because you just be just real. They didn't want him to leave, John, because he knew he was going to receive that reward.
Well, not only that, the ratings.
Yeah. Yeah.
They was hoping that would go viral.
Yeah. Or the way now all these different shots are coming out, you like, wait a minute. You got all these shots and things said when the cameras and come on.
They was
Somebody
hoping
didn't
that
drop the
would go
ball.
viral. I would have never, if I was in charge of the dump button on whatever channel that was airing on, I would have dumped a commercial. I
Right.
would not have let two men embarrass themselves in such a crazy way.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's no way that we would we'd be sitting here and talking about, the full audio getting out that fast. That was a leak.
Dude, that was faster. It had to be less than 30 minutes. I think we was on Alfie channel. I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on?
To hear the actual words,
Yeah, come
you
on.
understand it's hard to, do the screen thing because if when the camera cut to them, I was like, why are you cutting to them?
Right.
Why are you cutting to him cursing?
Right.
You know what
Somebody
I'm
gave
saying?
it permission.
Exactly. Somebody said, "Do it." That's why everybody thinks it's a stage. There's a whole group of people. I don't know if it's conspiracy theory or not. There's a whole group of people that says, "Oh, this was staged." The reason why you think it was staged is because no action was taken, and we were supposed to prepare for stuff like this. This is 2022 on modern television with a 45-second delay. You're telling me we couldn't have stopped that?
They could have stopped it. They could have They did it on. They did it, dude. They did it back in the '90s and the '80s. Shoot to a commercial. They shoot to a commercial under at the either Grammys or some other award, music award. Yeah, immediately go to a commercial. I think it was the Grammys. Something happened. Somebody had said something, or what they do is what did they start playing? The orchestra start playing the music. None of that happened.
Yeah. I'm telling you, that's why they think it was a stage. That's why they think it was made up. Because nobody in their right man would do that. But you know what? Sorry to sound a little colorist. Sorry to sound a little, you know,
It is what
um, it's. I think they would have protected that if there was a more important person they had up there.
it would have protected if it was somebody white.
Okay, so I'm glad. Listen, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
you know, who they protecting, and I'm even more shocked that there was a black producer in charge of that particular show that night. He should have made the call,
Yeah.
and he was up to Will like, oh, please stay. We want you to stay. And then he walked his statements back. He walked his statements back saying, "Oh well, you know, I didn't really say that." It came out that night with your own words.
Cause he's scared about he ain't gonna get the job again. You done, bro.
He ain't gonna get the job again. He already ain't gonna get the job again. It's already off the table.
Yeah, I wouldn't coach you back. I think his last name is Packer or something like that. Dude, you lost your job. Y'all done fudged up for everybody. He smacking people, you cutting to Will cussing, Jada laughing, then she shaking her head. Chris like, oh, he really did smack me. Y'all done turn this into a whole cluster fudge.
Yeah, it's a huge mess, and you can see all the red flags. All the red flags.
Yeah.
Jada and Will. I said Will was laughing, right?
Yeah.
They got an angle with her laughing too. Come on.
Come on. It's a bunch of malarkey, dude. That's why I'm saying, that's why even today, we're talking about the aftermath of this. We're looking at the aftermath, we're looking at the damage, what Will need to do. You gave I talked about the inside part of work he needed to do, but you talked about what he need to do, like you said, he's going to what?
Rehab.
To rehab. Smoke a couple doobies, he'll be all right. I'm not saying you to do that.
He need to go back to Philly and just get back to his roots or whatever. I don't know. All I'm saying is that there is a chance for redemption. Everybody should. Time should heal things. I do believe that.
Yeah.
But I don't think that we should take it lightly that something like this could happen. The Grammy Awards happen right after that. And you have, like we're talking about the aftermath, you have, you know, who's it? The Roots.
Yeah.
What's that drummer's name?
I know you're talking about.
He basically, you know, he got the award right before before that whole incident happened. Now he at the Grammy Awards, and they making fun of the whole situation now. They at the Grammy Awards, he's saying, "Don't hit me, you know, don't hurt me." Somebody came up there with a motorcycle helmet on and kept it on the whole night.
But
Now, I don't know if that was taking shots at the award show itself or the incident itself, but that's to me, if that's the current climate and you're allowed to get away with stuff like that, we in a sad time, man.
I will say something that you did say. I want to make sure I seen it yesterday, and that's with Mr. West, Kanye West.
Mhm.
What he's done recently, I've seen it and I've seen the video. You said going back to his roots. I don't know if you've seen the video clip.
Not
And I
yet.
wish I would have put it up. He went back to Chicago to go see his grandmother and his family.
Okay.
He's connecting back to himself.
I watched on one of those podcasts, YouTube podcasts. I forgot the guy's name. He got the white background with the chain link fence. He basically had Kanye's bodyguard on,
Mhm.
and he basically said we were instructed not to approach or retaliate against Pete Davidson, and they said that was publicly put out, but nobody ever carried the story because everybody wanted to have this like, predator type of situation to defame Kanye's whatever his reputation.
Right.
And I'm like, well, he did start it, so that's why they carried it. But at the same time, another black man just, with the narrative of toxicity, we gotta run with that one.
Oh, of
Gotta
course.
run with that one.
Of course.
And of course, Kim did it too. Kim was like, please don't talk about him. Other people that don't care, they're gonna come after him. Like, we know what you're doing. We know
Yeah.
what you're doing.
Yeah. It's playing into the whole narrative that, and I think we said this yet last week, playing into the whole narrative, and we might as well just say it, playing into the whole narrative that black men are toxic, and all they know how to do to resolve issues is to fight, talk about each other, which we see on YouTube with these YouTubians, Jesus, baby Jesus Christ, and then they don't know how to agree or disagree agreeably. That's what we see all the time. It is the channels that grow, that's popping and doing all this stuff, is the guys who are going back and forth with each other.
You have to almost look at it like this. If the society could get the black woman to get mad at the black man, that's easier dealt with and a longer lasting effect than if the society that doesn't look like you is mad at you. Because then
Yeah.
you can always claim the race card. But when they get your own people, that's the alternate gender, to do something to you, that's the real crime.
They don't get that, man.
I usually don't get gender specific. I usually don't get race specific. But I'm being honest about this. This is a real breakdown here.
Yeah.
If you use Jada to break down Will, and you use Chris Rock to break down Will, and you use Will to break down Chris Rock, and use Jada to break down Chris Rock, then you can say that was black on black. So what? So we can complain. We can talk about it. We can complain about it, and we won't get any change from it. We'll always be the firm.
Right.
The first time you ever saw this was the OJ trial.
Yeah.
That was black on white crime.
Right.
And we have a pretty good idea who did it. But because of the way he was raised, he might as well not have been black.
Right.
The way he was respected in the community, he might as well not have been black. And he was treated like a white man.
Yeah.
And guess what? Society's never gonna let you forget it.
Ever.
You're never gonna get away with that again.
Ever.
They thought they had nails in the coffin with Rodney King, but when OJ got away with that, they were like, wait a minute.
How can this be?
Like we know he did it.
He was there. He's running away in the Bronco.
I mean, the audacity to get on a plane. Oh, where did he fly to?
I'm OJ.
He flew somewhere like, okay, I'll come back.
I'll be back. No problem.
Got you leaving the scene, going on you were heading to the airport right after, bro.
In the Bronco with your buddy.
That was later. We're talking about he got in a car and went to the airport after he did the deed. And then the cops were calling him from the airport. I mean, the hotel, somewhere else he flew to. You know, your wife's dead. We need to come back. Your ex-wife's dead. Yeah, they come. Oh, that sounds like a very interesting thing. Let me come back. I guess I'll come back. Right. They got him leaving the scene and going to the airport. The Bronco was the aftermath. That's why we're talking about the aftermath when something happens. The Bronco was after you realize reality starting to set in. The people don't love me no more. And I'm gonna sit in the back of this truck and you keep driving.
Keep driving, buddy. That's
Okay.
a plan right there.
We have to realize the breakdown in these situations because you're trying to maintain your public figure look. This has nothing to do with real life.
No. That's the difference.
Can you imagine what people are doing on Instagram?
Oh my!
People are doing on Snapchat to maintain what they think is a public image, and you ain't even getting $10 in sponsorship.
Nothing. All you getting is your. Shout out to Sterling Cooper. Anybody who knows who Sterling Cooper is, he says something, man. When you say that about Instagram, Sterling Cooper says something He's an award-winning porn star and all like that. He's on YouTube. You can listen to him, whatever the case may be. But shout out to him. I'm giving kudos to where it belongs. He said this. He said, men, I'm going to see if I can say it correctly. Men enjoy pornography. That's what we are addicted to. He said, but the addiction for women is Instagram and TikTok. It's the same thing.
Wow.
I said, wait a minute. I said, you know, you go back and listen to the video.
Yeah, I'm gonna do some research on that.
I said, the same addiction, said, because the women they get so much inundated attention from Instagram and TikTok. You can see the poses and the this and that. And I see them because I look, you know, I ain't gonna, I do look. But it's the same effect that a man gets from watching pornography. What happens is there comes we don't know why we gotta go, man. It's 1:30. It's a disconnect because you're getting this unwanted attention. That's why I heard someone say last night that, hey, I don't want my woman on any social medias. She shouldn't be on there looking for that unattention. She should be getting her attention from me, her man.
How about this? I like your statement. Let me clean it up a little bit. I think it's their chance to be in their own ography. We don't have to call it porn. It gives women a chance to be in their own ography, instaography.
Oh my God.
Because they know what men would pay attention to if it was pornography. But since you have Instagram, which is supposed to be a little bit cleaner, a little bit, you know, it's not, you know, they don't step nudity. I don't think they do. I don't know.
They do.
Let's just look at it like this. They get a chance to put themselves out there without having to lose or defame their dignity.
Correct. So they get the same was it endorphin? What is it? Endorphin or whatever.
Yeah.
They get the same hit that a man, huh?
Dopamine.
Yeah, they get the same hit that a man would get by looking at pornography. Same with the Instagram. Oh, we saying all this to say this. Well, I don't know why we going this, but this is
a very interesting observation.
Yeah.
That's what you see here. The reason why the unhingedness of one man comes from the fact that he was trying to maintain himself and the reputation of his family and everything. And you're starting to see all the deals he made starting to fall apart. I'll be the big star. You stay down. I'll let you go, you know, have your little entanglements, but you know, don't let me find out. Well, why you sleep with my son's friend? You know, it's gonna be like
what?
You breaking the rules here.
Right.
I don't care anymore. How about I don't care? You know, I'm already rich. I got $100 million in the bank. I can sleep with who I want to. So now, but you still want to maintain. You get it? You're trying to maintain, and that's what's happened to the Insta models, the Insta thoughts. They made a deal. Oh, I can now appeal to myself. So the guys that I never appealed to, all I gotta do is put on this filter. All I gotta do is put on this wig. All I gotta do is paint up my face. All I gotta do is look like something that they might like. But when we meet in real life, you fly me out, or if you meet in the parking lot and you find out I ain't really me, it ain't gonna hurt my reputation much because all I gotta say is you're a liar.
That's right. Because then all I do is put up another shot and say, hey, here I am. And guess what? If you don't give it to me, guess what's gonna happen for the woman? Another man will be like, if there's 10 of the men in the inbox trying to send a dick pic or trying to say, baby girl, you know you look nice.
It's true. It's true.
It's the same hit. Shout out to Sterling Cooper. You listening to my dude, what did he say, mate? Because he's from Australia. Mate, that was a good one. I took that one.
We need to do better.
Yeah.
We need to do better. Take the example. The reason why I came up in the first place is take the example that we need to do better.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't clout chase for your own fame. Okay. Don't sacrifice the integrity of your family behind the reputation that, first of all, Chris don't hold no spell to the Will Smith legacy.
Nothing.
Okay. That's something they could have laughed off. They're like, yeah, I'm gonna get you later, buddy. And all of a sudden, shut down all his endorsements, shut down all his stuff going, and then he can have to explain that joke was written for him. He didn't have to explain that after a while, even though we know that's the truth. He
Mm-hmm.
didn't have to explain that no more after he got socked in the face. You know what I'm saying?
So yeah, definitely, man. Well, we might have to get Sterling Cooper to talk about that. We might have to get him on the show.
Interesting perspective.
Yeah. About the attention. I call him attention horse. That's what I call him. I see him. And I looked at one yesterday. I'm like, that's a lot of attention you giving right there.
I've had the privilege to coach a couple of people before when they were at maybe 15,000 likes or follower phase. And I talked to somebody that was right at post-op, third, fourth procedure, small stuff, lips, cheeks, breast augmentation. I had a privilege to actually talk to some people at those stage, and you start to hear I can't wait to do the next one. I can't wait to get the next one paid for. Blah blah blah. You start to say like, baby girl, why are you doing that? I said, can I see a picture of what you used to look like before you even started? Because that's the one that got you the first 15,000.
Right.
You think that wouldn't grow unless you did some more? Don't get the shots. Don't go to Colombia and go get the rest of the procedure. Don't go to DR and get 3 procedures at once where they take the fat transfer from one part of the body and put in the other and then send you back out of the country and hope that the body doesn't work, start a war against itself. It's not worth it.
It's not, dude, man, it's not worth it. I was in Miami. This was last year. And dude, the amount of women that were in and out of this surgical place was ridiculous. They were in the taxi, they weren't sitting down like a regular person. They were laying across the back seat because they couldn't sit their butt down. They can't even barely go to the bathroom. Need somebody to help them wipe. I'm gonna say this is me, John. I'm just me. Because I didn't touch a few, It don't feel the same.
Yeah.
It don't feel this. I don't know why I guess we really trying to. It doesn't feel the same. It look nice, but at the end of the day, it doesn't wiggle and jiggle. It don't feel the same.
It's unfortunate. It's a sad, sad reality.
And it was gonna happen when you're 56 years old, when that just go. Like you got 2 pops, like you got
the Cardi B at a concert. One of her Hamlets that's shoved in the back.
Yeah.
It flipped upside down on her.
Oh my God.
It happened to Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
It actually happened to Kardashian too. And she got hers removed.
Dude.
Her natural body started to overtake the implants.
Dude, you don't look like 2 cans in the back when they're 60 years old. Like your grandma, she got 2 cans in the back. Dude, I'm telling you, from a man's point of view, believe it or not, I'm going to say this. Y'all think that's what we want. I'm a natural brother. Just give us to it natural.
Yeah.
Do the work.
If I like you, I like you. I don't like you pinned up against the wall.
Yeah.
I don't like you in the picture. If I like you, it's supposed to be in your life because it's more than likely because I want to do to you, not just look at you.
Right. I'm telling you, man, it don't jiggle right. I know some people who got it, and I've been with someone who didn't got some work. I'm like,
might as well just go hire a photographer. That's all. That's the only man who's gonna be looking at you forever.
Yeah. And you think, I gotta go. I'm gonna say this, man. I guess we didn't win all the way LD at the dark. It does not make let me clean it up. Thank you, baby Jesus. Thank you for helping me. Let me clean it up. It does not make the intimate act any better.
Makes it worse. Believe me, there was a phase between marriages, and I said, you know what? I'm going out to the clubs. I'm going out to, and I'm telling you, I know surgery evolves and blah blah blah. But I'm talking about back in that time. I was really sorry when I ran into somebody that had that. I was really sorry. I was sitting there like, man, what a shame. You had a lot of potential before I found that out. Okay, and if it's any consolation, anything like that, it's not that you shouldn't. I know people are gonna say, well, I did it because I wanted to make myself feel good. I know that, but that's a price to pay. Because when you find the right person, say you go down the line and you find the man that really was like, oh wow, I like her. She's really got great personality. And it comes down to that situation, and you start to think, oh wow, I don't have to worry about how I look anymore because he likes me for who I am.
Correct.
Look at what you did. And who did you do it for? If you say you liked it for yourself, then your own self-esteem was healed by a person only thinking about your spirit and your mind and your personality. It's a contradiction. Because you'll find out the first night whether it was worth it or not.
It died, man. And in the mind of us men, we think it's going to be sparkles, and I mean it's going to be firecrackers and M80s, but it ended up being a sparkler.
Not even.
All right.
You didn't even crack the can of Coke open.
Oh my God! I thought it was going. I thought I was going to shoot for the stars. Here I'm shooting. I'm dribbling. It's not work. It wasn't work. I'm just saying. We being clear. And I seen we didn't got 17 people watching since we started saying this. But it's the truth, man. It's you know the thing. Just be natural. Go work out. Go to the gym.
I mean, it's not an easy thing, but I'll say this: the way you feel about yourself goes a long way.
Oh, it does, man.
And you don't exactly always have to change who you are on the outside. It's really you got to change who you are on the inside. That personality goes a long way. That confidence goes a long way.
Dude. And it does, man. Matter of fact, if we real clear for the Instagram for the Instagram chicks and everybody else, actually it's seen through the pictures. I can look at your picture and look at your eyes that you ain't got the confidence. Actually, you become a target.
All them headshots, we can already tell. You're self-conscious. All those people that don't want to stand in group shots because they know you'll see everybody take up one space, and then there's always that person that takes up two spaces. And see what happens is you don't realize that your value started with what you don't think about yourself. You should have been thinking about what you could do for yourself so you could change what might have been most important. My ex-wife definitely had an issue with health, and I was sitting there like, yo, why don't you worry about getting healthy before you think about getting pregnant?
Right.
That was my whole thing. Like, yeah, we know we want kids, everything, but there's an issue.
Right.
So why don't we solve the biggest problem, which is get down to a safe, healthy weight? And she went from she was like, her biggest was like 170, 180, I think. And she got all the way down to 125.
Woo!
And I was like, wow, you did it. You did it. Got healthy. I don't care if all your dreams, whatever, get healthy first. Then you can pursue what you want.
Right.
It took up a couple of years, but we got it done.
But think about it. How much more did you? I mean, you appreciated it already at that time. But how much more you
I
appreciated?
didn't care. I didn't care about the weight.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the appreciation that she worked on herself.
Oh yeah. And she did it naturally. She did body sculpting. She did diet. She didn't have to worry about stretch marks. She didn't have to worry about pulling lipo and all this other stuff. It was because she did it the right way. Just change your lifestyle. The nutritionist we were seeing, which his name,
Yeah.
his name is Dr. Womack. He told us, hey, the way you look is what you putting in you. All you gotta do is putting something else in you.
Right.
If I tell you what to put in you, you ain't gonna never have that size again. And all he did was give us the plan, and she listened. And that's what it takes for some people. Some people are so simple, all they gotta do is listen. Just listen. And if you shape what you got while you're losing the weight, you won't have to worry about surgery. You won't the sleeves and the gastric bypasses and all that other stuff. That's what makes you have to get your skin cut and pulled and stretched and everything. It's because you didn't do it naturally. Your body didn't have a chance to catch up.
Right. I know. I got
You get through this stuff.
I got a friend now. She did that. She did it naturally. She wasn't in bad shape at all. Begin with. Trust me, everything was hitting right. But now she's been in the gym for about a year or two. Dude, she looks amazing. Not only is it sitting right, it's sitting on 2 dubs.
Yeah.
She looks amazing. And I always tell her, you look amazing. Great job. You can see the glow in her smile. She didn't have a glow before, but it's like a different glow. She's completely transformed herself. And you know what? I don't know why we're talking about this, but somebody needs to hear this. The work starts on the inside, and like you said, of what you eat and what you put in you.
Yeah.
But I think we start talking about this because we're talking to Instagram ladies.
Yeah, but it all stems from the same thing. The aftermath, what we were talking about when it comes to this, is because of all the superficial.
What?
Everything Will wanted to look like on the outside is what's affecting him right now.
Yes.
If he was just honest about who he was with, who he didn't have a relationship with, which was Chris, who he didn't have a relationship, which was people who didn't care about dumping him out, who he cared about really understanding his wife really wants her own time right now. She wants to shine a whole different way. She wants to shine with something on the anyway. But the point is, we're just dealing with a whole lot of stuff right now because of the external effects. And if we don't look at it from our own perspective, we're just gonna have the same problem.
Same thing. That's why
Superficial will take you over too.
Yeah, it would. That's why we're saying is as much as you don't want them, you may not want to admit it as you're listening to us. Go back and like and share this. It all starts within. It's something we've been teaching since day one. Starts within.
Absolutely.
Starts within. With that being said, this is Lawrence D. Adams, Jono, representing the thinking class. We are out of here. I think this is a great show. Let me do this because I got it already set up. Bam! Love it. Think they got something today, Jono, man? We even went into people getting surgery and kitchen boards.
Glow.
The glow, boobies, cans in the back of their butt. Dude, this was good. Oh, you forgot the number. We'll get a number tomorrow with Jada. The number would have been Will Smith's birthday. So tomorrow is Jada Smith's birthday. Tomorrow's going to be Jada Smith's birthday. So the day number is whatever Will Smith's birthday is. But we got to go because we didn't give enough for you. You gave enough gas to take you to Bermuda. We out of here. Peace and some hair grease. Beard grease.